Hey guys, this is Connor with Conquest HP, and this is vlog number 4, my powerlifting meet prep for my first powerlifting meet. The story of this week so far has been kind of a lack of recovery, or rather being unrecovered from my work in the gym, from life, from everything, and just kind of slowing my pace a little bit. So there are some good lessons in there. It's always a little painful to kind of pull it back in the gym. You always want to push forward and try for PRs and try to get extra volume and try to beat what you did last week. But that's just not the way it's going to go all the time. You know, life circumstances in life change quite a bit, and kind of the recovery window of your body changes a little bit. And when you have a good week like I did, not this week, but the week before, where I was hitting a whole bunch of PRs, you know, that takes a little extra recovery as well. So you factor in all those things, and sometimes you get a week like I had this week where those maxes just weren't going to be there. I wasn't going to come close to kind of matching what I did the week before in terms of intensity, the weight on the bar, or in terms of volume, and that's okay. That's you have to be prepared to be a little bit flexible there, and that's kind of why I like using auto-regulated training, which kind of accounts for daily changes in your preparedness to train, rather than like a percentage-based training system or program. For that reason, because if I had to go in this week and I had to do 85% of my top back squat for this many sets of this many reps, it probably wouldn't have happened. And if I had to do that the week before, it might have been too easy for me that week. So what I have is the system where I can kind of push when I feel like I can push, and I can pull it back when I feel like I need to pull back. And this was kind of a pull back week. And I know a lot of people, and I have clients like this that are tempted to just kind of push through these little bumps in the road, these plateaus. It's not even really a plateau. It's just I just have to wait for it to pass. But they're tempted to push through and try to get those PRs anyways. And it's very important that you know your own body and that you know when you have to pull back, because those are the circumstances that kind of lead to either major gym disappointment or they lead to injury in a lot of cases. You know, if you're under recovered, your body's just not prepared to do what you're asking of it, and you want to keep pushing. Something's got to give. So you're either not going to get the weight on the bar that you want or the performance you want, or you're going to come close and something's going to go. So usually it doesn't have to come to that point if you can kind of realize when it's coming, or kind of see it coming before it happens. And I've gotten pretty good at noticing those things. So in my case, when I'm a little under recovered, or I've been pushing too hard in the gym, I find that one of the first things to go is my sleep quality. Ironically, like I need sleep more than ever, you know, when you're under recovered. But when I've been pushing that training a bit too hard, I find that my nights are a little more restless. I have to spend more overall time in bed to kind of get anything close to the same amount of rest. I'll find that my metabolism is temporarily a little bit higher. Like this week, the calories I was eating were just absolutely insane. Well, for me, it's, you know, it's completely individual difference, right? But like this week, I was averaging like 520 something carbs per day, and like 110 fat per day, and 220 protein per day, grams of protein per day. So for me, that's pretty high, much higher than I have been in recent weeks. So usually, you know, I would love to just take that and say, awesome, I have a sweet metabolism. It's just shown up this past couple weeks, and I'm just going to take it, and life will be good afterwards. But no, if that happens, you got to kind of question why it's happening, and you can connect the dots a little bit when you see that recovery is dipping a little bit. The other thing that's come up this week is I've had more aches than I normally would. So like usually from my normal training sessions, like when I started, kind of working towards a powerlifting meet here. I started with patellar tendinopathy in my right knee, which is it's started as a tendonitis, which is like an injury to the tendon around the front of the knee, and it gets inflamed and it's painful. But mine has been there for a long time, and it's a result of kind of vicious cycle of going back and forth between knee injuries, and yeah, so that ache was there from time to time, but that's been steadily getting better. Over this week, I've had other things starting to ache, and that's kind of another red flag for me. When you feel like your joints or your body in general is not recovering from session to session like it was the week before, you don't just ignore that. I know that a lot of people ignore that, but you can't really ignore that and expect to be safe in the gym. Like for example, my quad tendon on my opposite knee, on my left knee, which has been very good for quite a while now. I've never had problems with that quad tendon over there. It started aching between workouts and between, on even on off days. Like I took yesterday off completely, and I still had some ache there, and that was kind of weird. Didn't injure it in a session. I didn't feel anything go in a session. Didn't really get out of position on any of my lifts or anything like that. So it's just an odd ache, just a weird thing that I can't really explain with any clear conviction about where it came from in the first place. But I'm aware that there's training load on those tissues all the time, on my joints all the time. And when you get a little bit behind on recovery, the things that typically feel good or they feel okay after training sessions, they get a few or a little bit less of those recovery resources. And maybe that means that they're not repairing themselves completely between sessions or as much as they were. And maybe that's where some of that sensation comes from. So you got to be aware of those things for sure. Sleep is a huge indicator. Appetite's a huge indicator. Your readiness to train or how much you want to be in the gym, big indicator of how ready you are to train. How the weight feels on your back. Like this week I still squatted. I still got at least one set of one back squat at 405, which I'm very happy with. And it felt pretty good, but it was, if you watch the video, it's much, much slower than it was the previous week. And it felt like 500 pounds on my back. So, it's hard to quantify, but you just have to kind of connect all these dots and figure out what your body's trying to tell you. So yesterday was supposed to be a training day for me. I ended up taking it off completely and just trying to kind of stuff my face, catch up on rest, see how that went. And I planned on kind of doing a little bit of a workout today to take place of yesterday's workout. But again, I woke up today, there was some ache there that I don't feel should be there. I don't really feel particularly motivated to get into the gym today, so I'm not going to. I'm going to do some light exercise around the house. I'll do some body weight movements. I took Dexter for a nice long walk today. Took a little extra longer there just to kind of get blood moving. I'll probably do some light cardio in the form of shadow boxing in front of the TV or while listening to some music or a podcast or something later. Just simple stuff to kind of get the blood flowing, but nothing that's going to dig me into a deeper recovery ditch, so to speak. So this is just how I deal with my training load. And this is not very routine for me. I don't take structured deloads anymore. Like I don't do 3 weeks of hard work in 1 week where I'm barely doing any work in the gym at all. I used to do that, but I found that some weeks I wouldn't need it, or some cycles I wouldn't need it. I wouldn't need that whole week off. And some cycles, it's just there was too much damage being done in those 3 weeks that a week off was not going to be enough to address the problems that came up. So I kind of like to take it day by day, and most of the time I feel pretty good if I kind of auto-regulate within my sessions, make sure that I'm kind of training by feel, how the bar feels on my back, how fast the bar is moving when I'm lifting, if I can maintain good mechanics, that kind of thing. So the story of this week has been, it's kind of disappointing poundage wise, but I still maintain some discipline with my form, and I still got into the gym consistently. I got the majority of my hard work in, and that's what progress looks like sometimes. It looks like a step back sometimes, but that's, long-term progress is that 2 forward, 1 back kind of setup a lot of the time. And a lot of the time when you hear otherwise, it's just not true, or you're being sold something. But that step back sets you up for the next 2. And if that's the way it has to be, then that's the way it has to be. My only other option was to kind of push through being under recovered, and just hope that there were PRs there, hope that I could put up the same weight that I did last week. And doing so is a bit of a risk. I'm risking injury, and how does that set me up for next week? If I grind through that, is it gonna help with my recovery? Am I gonna get further ahead? Probably not. But I maintained a little discipline this week, and I think that's going to carry over into next week, and I'm hoping for a better week next week. Some of the life, house, work stuff has calmed down, so there will be a little more regularity there. That's nice. And yeah, I'm excited to get back under that bar already. I just took yesterday and today off, but I'm already eager to get back under the bar and get some hard work in. So as I said, that's a good sign already. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to do another vlog soon about kind of the full extent of the injuries that I'm bringing into this whole prep, because it's kind of interesting to see how they're all connected. And it's a funny story to see how one kind of leads to another and how they all feed off each other. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, check out the other vlogs if you haven't done that already, and the rest of the channel, or the videos on this channel. And follow on Instagram too, so that's where a lot of my training footage is going. All right, guys, have a good one.